And welcome back to Career Build Series. This is episode number 66. I'm going to be putting the build back into the build series here. So, did a bunch of mission slash oil trading the last couple episodes, and I really been enjoying getting back into actual gameplay. Not that building isn't gameplay, it certainly is, but with the lag issue that I was having that is now resolved, I can kind of dive back in and play, and so really enjoying updating the oil pump jack rig, getting that going. We sold some oil, so we have, I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $180,000 in game, which is helpful to kind of expand what we're doing. I'm also seeing where my deficits are on equipment, and each build series I will still use craft from the previous build series at times because I don't want to spend a ton of time rebuilding absolutely everything, but I try to keep most of what I use, stuff that I've built recently, or on screen, and I will bring in some older builds because I never like to say goodbye to those builds and I like to bring them back. And often the time that I play in the career build series is the main time that I'm playing the game, so if I wasn't to bring back some of those old builds, I wouldn't be able to play with them again. So I know I've been building a lot of different things, but I've been kind of trying to find where we're missing in certain areas to be able to do certain types of missions. And so in the last episode, notice that there are a bunch of sea rescues that would be more easily done with, say, a helicopter or a seaplane. The seaplane that I built, this tiny one, it has some issues. It's pretty small capacity. It is, because it's using that rocket glitch and it's pretty light, it will definitely struggle with any sort of heavy seas. And so what I want to do is I want to build a seaplane amphibian, so a plane that can go both on land, sea, and air, and three places. And so one thing that I thought would be kind of cool is I'm currently holding the Build Challenge Delta, which is to build an amphibious plane or helicopter. Now, it seems like most people are building helicopters, which is fine. I tend to like seaplanes a little bit better, so I thought it would be kind of cool that we need a seaplane. So I was thinking of building one alongside. This will help with missions. The smaller seaplane just isn't going to cut it too much. It is very restricted in what it can do. Its main job is to be very compact. And so because it's so small, it has to give up other things like stability on the ocean. Think of a tiny little dinghy out in the ocean. It's going to get knocked all around. You have a bigger vehicle. It's going to be able to handle the waves a little bit better. So I'd like to build a seaplane. So let's start with some reference material. All right, so this is ArtStation here. All credits, of course, to the person who made this. This is the duck from DuckTales, and so I'm not. This is not going to be a replica. I'm not a huge fan of cartoony builds, but one of the things is, because of our squarish blocks that we have in game, we have to build things a little bit on the square side. So kind of looking at a cartoon build is kind of helpful sometimes to get started. So if we look at this, this is a show that I used to watch when I was a kid, DuckTales. And so, it's not going to be a replica, but I kind of want to show you some of the things on here that I like, the kind of the features. It's been taken from a number of different types of planes, but I kind of like the flatter, longer nose. I don't have any seaplanes with a real flat, long nose, so I think I'm going to flatten the nose and then do a nice curved boat bottom here. It's not going to be cargo door in the back like this. It'll have a proper step like a seaplane would have. I like the twin boom design, so twin booms is something I'm looking for. I really want to do a twin boom design. It could be high wing here. I would like to do some radials, pretty small engines. I don't want this to go super duper fast. And so let's look at some more reference stuff. So this here is a Mallard. Used to see these IRL quite a bit. I definitely want the twin boom design. I like that. But this has more of the belly that I like, so kind of a flattish nose. I think I'm going to do probably really flat nose, and then I'm going to try to get as much detail in here as I can, but you see you have a thick part here, and this is the step to help you get up off the water. And then kind of curve down and try to be a little bit sloped in here. So some of the things I'm looking for in this build is I want to be able to sleep in this build. I want to be able to kind of make it a base, a home away from home base. I would also like to be able to do stall short takeoff and landing so that I can land at some of the, like the place where put out fire, do some rescues there as well, so that I can also use this, do some short field takeoffs. Use the amphibian to go pick up some people at the refinery a few episodes ago, and I could have, because of the dynamics of that plane, and it was really good, gets down to a low speed, I could have landed in the village where I had to drop them off on the road. So I think I'd like to do some of that kind of bush piloty stuff. I want to do tricycle landing gear this time, so I need to be able to put a nose wheel in the front here and have some mains just after the center of gravity. So let's go ahead and start working. All right, here we go. So let's start really quickly with the seating. I think that's important to kind of establish the width. It's going to be kind of squarish, let's put it that way. I want some good size here. So what I'm going to do is start with a center console, and then I'm going to do some pilot seats here. And this just kind of get me spaced out and realize where I am space-wise. And just get the dimensions. Oh, come on there, camera, don't misbehave. All right, so there we go. We kind of have the width of it here. Let's see what we're looking at width-wise. So that's 11, so that's not too bad. Gives me a nice center console area, so I can have a couple throttles in there, because I want to do physicalized props and throttles. I want to have this be constant speed propellers, so that's important to me. And so let's get moving on that. All right, so next thing I need to do is, let's go ahead, and I'm just going to extend the dash out. I'm trying to come up with some better building methodologies for some of these planes to get them where I want them. And so I think I'm going to go right into Windows. I'm kind of doing flicky camera already. All right, so let's do, I kind of like having short, stubby windows. I like feeling like I'm inside of a build. Those were always my favorite, planes and trucks to fly and drive that had kind of a stubbiness to them. That's too stubby. Often, I think people often are used to the gamified visibility that games have. And, I saw this in Star Citizen all the time was, I used to be excited about their designs in Star Citizen, and I really dislike a lot of the directions they've gone there. Just because, I think they try to make everything a bubble canopy, and I really hate bubble canopies. I want to feel like I'm inside of a real aircraft, and, I have a little bit of experience in there, so it's, I definitely like to feel like I'm almost in a cave. One of the reasons I raised that was to not do a 3. So let's do a 2. So you don't, people often overestimate how much visibility you would need. As you get used to a vehicle, you intuit where things are going to be. I had this with trucks where, the visibility is pretty not great, and you still know exactly where the nose of your truck is, and you don't hit things, and so the same thing is true in airplanes, is you don't need a hell of a lot of visibility. You just don't. What is that? Is that hitting all that? Wow. See how long these dashes have to be to not hit the seats? It's kind of frustrating. Why? How is that hitting? Jeez, dude. Look at the length of that has to go to not hit a seat. Insanity, man. Okay. I do XML glass on occasion, but I tend not to like to do it. It's kind of a pain, and especially with this, it's very hard because this is going to needs to be watertight. And because this needs to be watertight, I don't want to, XML is not going to have it's not going to be sealed. So I'm just kind of starting to work with some of these areas, kind of getting some of what often turns into the problem areas. I'm trying to get those kind of established. If I can get the problem areas worked out, that really helps me get moving. So that's kind of the roof line there. And then on, the mallard that I'm using as kind of my reference material, that looks pretty accurate. So, we kind of have to work with the parts that we have, and so it can be challenging at times to get the angles to look pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, there. Don't want this to be enormous, but I do want it to be, you know, I want to be able to hold a good number of people, and I want to be able to have a bed in there and some sleeping quarters, and I want to be able to land when the seas are somewhat heavy because, you know, right now I don't have a rescue boat, and so having a reasonable size seaplane is going to help me do some of those rescues. All right, so let's start cutting out that dash a little bit here. All right, so I want to do a very sloped, like a very minimally sloped top to this. And so let's see. Let's go to pyramid. Let's try fours. And so the top should be pretty flat, and then it should kind of slope under that, very much like a boat. So these are one short to do that. Let me try something. So we're going to kind of drag these in here. I also want to put on like a proper size mode control panel for the autopilot. And so that I need a bunch of dash space for that. So I'm trying to think ahead on what I'm going to need. All right, let's do that. Merge these. And I want the long nose. I haven't had a long nose on one of these builds, and so I kind of am looking forward to that. So just that's kind of a detail that I'm looking for, is that long nose. So that's important to me. And what if I were to go down one more? Let's see. Just kind of use the mallard for some shaping to kind of see what my shapes look like here. Okay, I'm digging that. That's pretty good there. All right. And we'll start doing some shaping here. You know, it's very challenging these where they have a lot of really tough angles to be able to get that satisfied by the time I get down there. So let's try something. Get out of there, you. Oh, come on, dude. Click on the correct block. There you go. So again, bringing some building back to the career build series for this. That turns into twos. Okay. Bringing the building back into the career build series for this episode. All right. And then so I kind of want to go at least one flat section. You know what? I want to go one bys here. Okay. And then I want to go flat under that probably. Okay. And so it doesn't stay, you know, it goes right into the bottom boat section quickly, unlike the mallard. It has that flat nose. Same with kind of like the DuckTales boat that I was showing you. This is weird and wonky to me here. Yeah, it's like stops a little bit abruptly, but you know, even the mallard has a very flat side on it. I think people often overestimate how sculpted they are. They often get flat pretty quick. Yeah, it would kind of be nice to maybe go in, try something here. Let us try something, see if I can't get this to slope. Again, you know, we're working with what we have here for blocks, so let's try this, see if I can't get it to... It's a little bit sharper than I like, so this might help me get it a little less sharp. There we go. Come on there, guy. All right, so that's a little bit less sharp there. A little bit more gradual. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm digging that a little bit more gradual. So I'm trying to think. I'm looking at the reference, and it probably should go down. I'm trying to think. Do I go down one more on this? Let's try it. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the right decision to go down one more. Then for both hydrodynamic reasons, I might want to go one bys here. The one by wedges tend to work better. So I'm kind of just eyeballing this from reference material of where I should be going. Probably switch out to 2s here. Need to keep an eye on that. Okay, that looks good there. So let's do a drag on that, at least for 2 there. All right. I'm just not dragging it because I'm going to go in and delete the excess blocks anyways. All right, and let's go 2x4s here. All right. So that's pretty good there, I think. I think that's a good shape. I'm digging that. I think that looks good. It has a lot of space. I'm going to need and want that. This is going to have living quarters and all sorts of other cool this and that's in there. So, all right, so let's start trying to finish this up here. Where am I grabbing? Right there, I think. Okay, that will go to there. And then here, what do I need? This switches out to the 2s there. So I think what I need to do is cut to this section here faster. So let's go to 2x4s there. There we go. And then this needs to just go to 2x4s a little bit sooner. That's actually, I think, better. That makes it so it's not so huge. I actually think that's probably better. Okay, good. So now, all right, and then this will finish this here. All right, nice. So this is coming along. All right, so I'm digging on this. This is going along well here. All right, so that will be the back of the step. On the Mallard, you have that steps. It's almost like a shelf, and that's how you help to get up on plane when you're going through the water. It cuts down on resistance. Yeah, they tend to slope in a little bit more. I'm not going to worry about that. I don't really have the blocks for it. And flat bottom is going to help me get out of the water a little bit easier, and it's also going to make the gear a little bit easier. Part of the problem here is if I put the gear, so one of the reasons why I do a lot of tail draggers, and I might even have to turn this into a tail dragger, is these blocks here, you can see this here is enormous. So I would have to cut out this door, would have to be all of this, and this midsection to be able to put the nose wheel here. If I put the nose wheel here, it's all flat block, so I can easily get it in here. And so the earliest place I could put the nose wheel is probably right, ooh, not even there. Nose wheel would have to go like here, which isn't the end of the world. That's actually not too bad for the nose wheel. I would like it up towards the front where it is in the mallard, but as you can see, I would need to move these 4 blocks plus the center section here, so it's quite a bit of gear manipulation there. And so we'll figure it out, but that's one of the reasons I do tail draggers, is that nose wheel is one of the hardest things to put in. So this here is actually going to go away, and we'll put in some wedges here. All right, so that's going to be, I'm trying to see where the step goes. Step goes back probably a little bit further on this, so we'll probably step it to, let's step it to there. And then we're going to say that's the step. I'm trying to get these shapes of the step done correctly. So the step will go up a couple, and then you'll actually pull out the rest of the shape from here. So it'll actually kind of go up like so. So it actually steps up, hence the name step. All right, so I kind of like that, and then let's see if we can't finish this here, and then it does curve down the bottom here, so this is giving it kind of a more realistic flying boat, seaplane type of bottom. At least some of the contouring. Crap, I grabbed the wrong one there. Let's see, can I get you in here without you being a pain? Probably. I just had it. There we go, right there. All right, and so this is going to step up. I kind of needed to go up a little bit faster, so what I'm going to do is cut here. Oh, nope, not there. So I'm kind of looking at these lines as my contour, so to try to contour up to the tailplane. And so I'm just kind of looking at the reference material. Of course, like if I had a 1x26 wedge, that would be perfect. But I don't, so I'm kind of just eyeballing it, trying to see. You know, this looks very sharp and abrupt, but it is sharp and abrupt on the real one too, so you have to keep that in mind. That is pretty sharp and abrupt on the real one. And so it even, no, we keep going up, I think. Let's keep going up, I think. You know, I'm just having to work with the blocks that I have. And so it goes up for a little while. I'm going to go up 3 right there. Okay. And then that's going to be the bottom. And then this will be all be top level. So I'm kind of seeing what I need here from the floor up. And then go down from there. So let's start pulling down. It'll go there, and then this will go like that. This will go like so. All right, nice. So that's starting to get nice and shapely there. I would like a little bit more curve underneath, but it would gain too much height. You can see what I could do in here to cut this a little bit. Let's try something here. This is just a little bit sharper than a little bit squarer than I like. I'd like to cut out some of the squareness of this. But I didn't want to put that step on, so it will also help me get this tail tailored a little bit. Pun intended. All right, so let's grab all that. What am I missing here? Anything? Not really. Okay, good. And so I want to go in, what, 1, 2 maybe? Let's do that. That will help me smooth out this, or thin out this tail a little bit. Because we need to thin the tail anyway, so that's going to help with that. So that's the new step plane. So I'm actually looking at the mallard on the other screen, and that looks pretty realistic to how it really is. So that's coming up pretty good there. Okay, you can't go. Nope. Okay, good. So this will go there. Okay. And so this starts thinning out my tail, which I desperately need to start doing pretty soon here. So I need one more of these because this actually needs to come in and be pretty much on the money there. Because it needs to match up with the sidewall. All right, nice. So that is actually looking pretty good. It has a step plane on there. So if I'm going to do a nose wheel, the nose wheel is going to go here. I need the mains to go in here, so that's good. All right, so then this gets finished off in the back here, and then it goes up to like a secondary tail. So this is all in the water, and then up here there'll be a secondary tail. I am going to be doing a twin boom design on this, so what I should probably do is finish this off, seeing that it's going to be twin boom. I kind of want a twin boom, so I'm kind of getting a little screwed up looking at the mallard here, which is not a twin boom. But I will, I'll start to finish this up so that I can get into the twin boom design. See what I can do here to kind of just finish this. Nope, it's not going to do it for me. Could do something like that. I'm just trying to see if I can finish this without it being a pain. Let's see. Like that. That's not a bad way to finish it, I don't think. Let me try something here. Is this going to be very funky if I do this? I hope you guys have been enjoying the career build series. It's been going pretty well lately. What I could do, switch to that. Let's try something here. Let's cut that. Yeah, it's been very nice getting back in and actually playing, the career build series how I intended for it to be with me doing missions and stuff. It was just tough when I was having that issue and couldn't get into it because of laggage. Now that is over, and so I'm enjoying getting back into it. Starting to really energize me to play again. I think how I can reintegrate this here. Yeah, something like that maybe. It doesn't need to go that high though, that's the thing. I don't know, let's see what I can do here. Yeah, it's a little bit fat and annoying. Let's do... Try something like this, see how it shapes up later. All right, and what do we have there? 2x1 wedges, okay. All right, so that, I'm liking the silhouette of that. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, I just need to finish that off because this is going to be twin boom, so I need to work on the twin boom at some point here. All right, so that finishes that off. Let's try to get some of the rest of this fuselage kind of going here. So I tend to switch into putting a side window on there, which I have to end abruptly because we don't have enough window pieces. So maybe I can do a 2x. Can't make it too long or else the windows don't line up properly. Because we're missing window pieces, of course. That would, of course, be a hugely popular thing for the devs to do, is put in some more window pieces. See, like that there? That lets water in. Not good in a seaplane. So, as I imagined, I have to go like this. Okay. That's all right. Let's see. I want to do... Okay, let's do 1x3 here. Okay, where are we at here? I want... Again, like I said, a lot of people overestimate how much visibility you have. You don't really have a lot of eyebrow windows in a lot of these. This is the visibility you have. It's not a lot. You don't need it. You're up in the air. You're operating via instruments. You're doing instrument approaches most of the time. You do not need a ton of visibility in your airplane. I think people well overestimate in most games how much visibility they have. And of course, it's because, you have people who've never flown a real airplane before, and so they kind of need a little bit of an extra hand up, a little bit of extra help. And so games will often increase the visibility that you have. And so people start to think that that's what you actually do get. And you don't. All right, so let's go kind of like that, as it's kind of sloping in a little bit there. And let's go to there. Grab you, go up here. That'll leave us a little bit of space. I can put some windows in there. Let's give me like a little forehead on there. Let's try something here. I want to kind of get away from this and get some square going in behind it, just so I can put windows in. Yeah, see, like doing, see, that's the issue, is the frickin' windows, man. These windows are rough, man. They just make it very difficult to get cool shapes in here. Yeah. Just kind of, I'm trying to see what would cover that. Will that actually cover it? I'm not going to use it. Yeah, that's, so you'd have to go up to a 4 to cover that. So one thing I often do is put eyebrows on, which I'd rather not do on this build. I'm kind of liking it with no eyebrow, but you put a, it would go over like that. And then that looks a little bit more, that looks better like that, So yeah, I think I'm going to do that. That looks better like that, so I'm just going to do it. That's why I do it. There's reasons why I do it. I mostly use, non-XML windows, and so I tend to do that because you can't really see that too much, and it lets you take that kind of flat square shape and make it work for you. This will also give me more window space. I'm curious about something. That goes there. I'm trying to see. I'm going to have to do it like this. That's fine. Just kind of predicting where my shapes are going to go here. Okay, so this is ending too abruptly, most certainly. Yeah, this definitely ends too abruptly. You see how this is probably a pretty good distance for, I'm looking at the mallard and I need a longer tail to make this work for me. So that's the problem with having, 1x4s is, like I said, I probably need like a 1x26. So let's go ahead and we'll lower that. Let me look at I'm going to look at kind of the DuckTales plane. So that ends pretty abruptly, the DuckTales plane, because it's a twin boom. So maybe I let this end abruptly. Let me see if I can make this look all right without, and kind of keep it a little bit abrupt, because, this is supposed to be a twin boom design. Let's kind of see what I could do here. The twin booms will kind of give it some length, so let's try something here. Let's go 2 more like this. So we'll let it extend 2 more. Grab. Okay, and then we'll see if I can't go down from here, and then I can work on trying to connect this to the bottom effectively. Because this looks short and stubby, but it's going to have twin booms, so it'll have 2 booms going to the back, and then a horizontal, full horizontal elevator, 2 small rudders, wings are coming in here, so you can make a lot of the proportion fixes there that are kind of funky right now. Yeah, see, this is kind of wonky here, but not much I could do about it, I don't think. I'll play with it, see what I can do to kind of dress this up a little bit here. Like the DuckTales plane has a cargo door in the back. Trying not to make this look overly cartoony, which can be a challenge. Let's try this. Let's just try to re-engineer this section here, because this is where we're kind of at, and so I need to kind of finish this up. We have a good bit of space in here. I'm just checking on that to make sure we have enough space. That was one of the goals, is to have enough space to have some living quarters in here and plenty of stuff for others to do rescues and whatnots. Okay. Okay. Trying to figure the best way to kind of end this up here. Try to give it a little bit more length. See if that, oh, come on, dude. See if that will do what I'm looking to do here. Come on, attach where you belong there, guy. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's see what we can do here. I need 2 wedges here. Nope. Looking pretty weird right now, but hopefully some of the other details will take away from it once I get there. Looking pretty awkward at the moment, but hopefully I can kind of get this finished up in a not too unattractive way. I'm going to try to quickly flesh out wings and boom to try to see what this is going to look like, because right now it's pretty odd, but you know, I've seen many times before. You kind of get those things flushed out, and it starts to fix some of these problems. All right, so looking at the thinking here, I want the engines or the whatever you call it, the wings. Aeronautical science degree, and I call wings whatever you call them. The nice thing with one of the reasons why I like some of these older planes too is they have very square wings, which is or very square bodies, very square wings, and so the parts that we have in game, often complement that pretty well. Where yeah, some of the modern stuff, they have a lot of slopes and everything else, and so it makes it tough to get the shapes to work right for you. There we go, there. Okay, good. Getting some good wing shaping here. So I want to get the wings in, I want to get the booms in, and that will tell me if my body is absolutely hideous looking or if it's okay. All right, so the wings are already kind of helping try to structure this a little bit. And then I need to put the booms in. The booms will really help to give it that squared off length that I'm looking for. So one thing I need to do is I need to grab props. And so because it's going to be a sea craft, it needs these rotors. Where are rotors? I can't get these. Can't get these small enough to make them look right. That's, enormous, of course. Where's the propeller? Okay, these are the ones I'm looking for. That looks about size-wise right, correct? Distance from the fuselage could be closer. The closer to center line is good because you have what's known as a critical engine. That if you have the propellers turning the same way, one of them's critical because the way the airflow comes off and hits your rudder. And so if you lose one of your engines, that's your critical engine, and that's worse to lose. So, okay, so I'm going to do regular one size. They'll go up to about there, I'm thinking. Trying to get them as high as I can get them. It's probably there, maybe. Let's go there. Hopefully we can get this floating high enough those aren't in risk of hitting the water. Don't want to be looking right at the propellers, probably right about there. Okay. And this one here will be, so right there, and then I think I went up, what, 1, 2, something like that. So that's right above, so one more on this, I'm thinking right there. Okay, so let's start building the booms. And so the boom will ultimately be about probably this big to start with, I'd say. All right, so this is just for shaping reasons, so I know how big this boom is going to be. And so the boom is going to come back to probably there. Again, we only have 1x4s to work with, so we kind of have to work with what we have. Unless we want XML stuff, and I'm not really keen on doing that right now. So you know what we should do? We should keep this top section pretty static and have the bottom come up because I don't want the tail in the water. So like that. The boom should come well past the tail. So all the way out to there. The longer the further away your rudder is, the longer your lever arm and the smaller of a rudder you can take. So that's kind of important. So we want to come up and then I think do final sizing here maybe. And so let's go like so. And then we can thin out the booms a little bit. Probably something like that. Yeah, I want to cut that all the way up to here, I would say. Probably there, maybe. Okay. So I'm just trying to get the general boom shaping in here to see if the body looks ridiculous or if the body works for me. Okay, so that's right like that. Good. All right, and let's go ahead and let's see. All right, so that's kind of going to be the twin boom design there. I'm liking it. See, this adds some width to it and some length. That helps with some of the general body look of it. All right, so let's try to get this to look reasonable. So let's see, what can we do here? Let's do okay, that's not going to work. This kind of squares them up maybe a little bit more than I like, but let's see how these integrate. I need to be able to put the engines in there and everything, so oh, I just did that. All right, so there is the booms are going to be thicker up by the engines, and then they'll be able to thin out a little bit. So that, and then I want to grab where you at there, guy. Right here. Okay. Nice. Okay, so that's how that's going to shape up. So I'm just trying to get these booms in, see how they look. Okay. Okay. All right, so fleshing out the booms. Starting to come along. So that's what the twin booms will look like. So it's looking pretty good. The tail is funky, but might just even be better just to round it out at the end there, but we'll see. See how it looks at the end. All right, so I'm gonna grab some more here. What the hell is this one? Okay. I'm trying to think how thin I want the remainder of the boom. Problem is hard to thin them out with the size blocks we have here and not make them look weird. Okay. That looks overly thin on the bottom though. Like that, and then let's put in this, and that's probably actually work. All right. That'll actually work pretty well, I think, right there. All right, this is where the rudder goes. The rudders, they're multiple on a twin boom. It's twin booms. It's two of them. All right, and then let's see. As small as they get. All right. So let's work on this horizontal tail plane. Kind of old school shaping on that. All right, good. I like that. Looks nice and old school there. Maybe go in one, but that's the only criticism I have of it. Yeah, I think it needs to go in one, so let's go. Oof, that looks worse. Let's see. I think it just goes a little bit too high, frankly. I don't know, I can fix that later. Yeah, I'll fix that later. But kind of seeing how it looks. And so we have the horizontal tail boom goes across like so, and then we would put elevator sections on there, like do them symmetrically would be in good shape here. Let's go there, there, and then this doesn't need to be that thick. Be thinned out like that. Okay. Kind of digging on that. That's looking all right. So that'll be the horizontal tail plane. Use some work here and there, but looking pretty good. It's coming out too far. It needs to go in some, but we can fix that. Needs a little bit of shaping here and there, but it is kind of basics. Getting the basics done is important. So you cut that and then probably there maybe. All right, so proportionally this is looking pretty good. You have a body, twin tail booms. I can shape it in kind of into the propellers a little bit, or even keep it kind of on the rounded side. Let me try fixing this so it's a little bit where I want it here at the end. You know, these were all radials back in the day, so they have that very rounded shape, kind of like a radial. All right, so that's good. And then I don't want to look right through the propeller as I'm trying to look at the window. All right, so that's good. You know, I could set the whole wing back one as well to fix that issue. We will work with this for now. Oh, come on. There's one thing I was trying not to delete was the propeller. We can do more shaping and everything later. I'm just trying to kind of get it going. And so leave it a little on the square and round side because it is going to be kind of emulating an old school radial. New stuff is very much more rounded and aerodynamic. Old school stuff is not. Probably do here. Let's try twos here. Might be too close to the propeller, but we'll see. Could round the whole thing a little bit more, but I don't know. Yeah, the other seaplane was just its its main goal is to be small, and so it just gives up so much with being small that it has some utility issues, and so this is a little bit more utility. I'd want the propellers to come forward one if it was going to be it because 100% they're almost hitting, but they're not, so. Oh, come on, get out of there, you. You know, a lot of rough shaping that can be fixed later, but that's, I think that's coming along nicely. You know, this looks pretty good. Coming along, proportionally it looks pretty good. Let's put it on the ground here and see where we're looking. So, like, see, the center of gravity is pretty far back now, but that's not a big deal. I can toss weight and mass anywhere I want because we need the wheels to be about here. And so let's just dump some wheels on here for right now to get it on the ground and kind of see where it would sit. And I have to see where my gear are going to go eventually. So I'm thinking, put it there. Let's try 5-bys. Tend not to put suspension on because it's asking for trouble. They have too much sag. All right, so that looks proportionally pretty good. Problem is with these, with using those wheels, they really love to misbehave. They love to sink in the ground. So we'll have to see if it wants to misbehave, but the chances of it wanting to misbehave is probably pretty high. All right, that's fine. You know, of course, everything looks enormous on the workbench. And then you get it in game and it looks reasonable. So I kind of expected that it would look the size. This is about the size that it's supposed to be. You know, it's not supposed to be absolutely enormous. So I need center of gravity in front of the wheels. Of course, there's a lot of block to add on the bottom of this wing, which is all ahead of that center of gravity. So that will help. I am dropping it a little bit. I need to not drop it. I'm going to punch more weight in the nose here, and then I'm going to lower it all the way down. There it goes. Okay. There we go. So that is starting to come along. Twin boom seaplane. Should have enough. So there are some things that I'm considering that needed to be thought of is have enough stuff on the bottom so that it will float properly. That's one of the kind of the things I'm looking ahead to. This is going to be wheel well. This is going to have to, so this will fold back, I would say. These will kind of suck up on the side, kind of like the Mallard. But I think it's looking pretty good. I think this will be a good size for what we're looking for here. Let's go inside and see what that kind of feels like on the inside. You know, the tail, I could actually probably go back a little bit, but so here's the main deck. And so we'd be walking the main deck and probably have like a, maybe even, see, like we can just barely like crouch walk under here. These planes are often having to crouch around anyway, so the tail pretty much is useless space. But this is the main area in here. And so if we can get 2 decks kind of bi-level on here, that would be kind of cool. But I like the look in the cockpit here. You can see the engines. We could go 1 forward on the engines and it wouldn't bother me. Or 1 forward on the propellers, it wouldn't bother me. But nice wide cockpit here. Plenty of room above us for putting in stuff in here. This here can actually be cut and we can put slope that up a little bit. Center console. The autopilot mode control panel can go in there. So this is looking pretty good. I like this. So I hope you guys enjoy that. I'll see you in the next one.